Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic... I can't talk today, so that's the way it's going, okay? I kind of just want to talk about the 4-0 start, just how it feels, just what's going on, and maybe this is a stupid video. I don't know, but hell, why not? I like to speak what's on my mind. That's what it's all about. So let's get straight into the video.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
The Philadelphia Eagles, guys, obviously a 4-0 start is fantastic, okay? Going into the season, not knowing what was going to happen. And I figured the way the Eagles are playing right now that this hot streak that we're on wasn't going to happen until like maybe a few games, maybe a little bit after the bye, maybe not, maybe middle of the season that it was going to happen. But this team has been on fire, not just from Jalen Hurts and his leadership, but from a coaching standpoint is where I was kind of looking into this whole season. The coaching standpoint is we look good on paper going into the season, but holy crap, guys. I mean, it's been just pure production everywhere. Jalen Hurts being the number one factor because the Eagles are looking for their future quarterback, and obviously those 2 first-round picks are kind of designating, Jalen Hurts kind of designating where those 2 first-round picks are going to go, because I do not want to trade for a quarterback. Didn't want to trade for a quarterback this past offseason. Okay, I want to give Jalen Hurts another year. That was going to be fair to him, because really, you take this year away, he only had a year and a half of playing time. That's it. 4 to 5 games in 2020, and obviously early in the 2021 year, he was still a rookie. I mean, by the end of the year, I was like, middle of the year, I was like, okay, maybe he's got to step up a little bit, and obviously there were flaws of Jalen Hurts when it came to his progression, reads, or missing wide open receivers. His throwing motion wasn't great. There was just a lot of things that he could have improved on, and I think having another offseason with the Eagles, and obviously the moves that Howie Roseman has made between the contracts, not only that, but early in free agency, we didn't really do anything to help this offense. The first 2 weeks of free agency, we did absolutely nothing. Okay, trading for A.J. Brown, getting Zach Pascal. I mean, you're adding a brand new linebacker core that's been, God, when we talk about linebackers with T.J. Edwards, holy crap, Pro Bowl caliber year so far. Kaiser White doing some good things. Kobe Dean kind of sponging everything up, and, fans being pissed off about that. But, I think is definitely going to be a big role by next year unless somebody gets injured. Kobe Dean will step in. The linebacker room has depth in it, which is a good thing. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I mean, it's all over the place. The moves have been great. And I think the coaching aspect of this whole thing going to the season, how to use these wide receivers, getting guys open. And Jonathan Gannon, it was the big question this year. And not to say that I trust Jonathan Gannon, still, every week I'm just seeing what's going to happen. And I feel like he's getting better every week, but I don't want to say I'm all in with Jonathan Gannon yet as a defensive coordinator. Still tough, still a couple things that bother me here and there when we play these games. Even though we are 4-0, as a content creator, I have to talk about things, and nothing's ever perfect. Okay, obviously this past Sunday facing the Jaguars definitely, wasn't a perfect game, but that was mostly because of the weather, and, obviously Jalen Hurts threw the pick 6 that was deflected, and I can't say too much about how this team, it's overwhelming how great this team is. And I think you can't just put players into an offense or a defense and just tell them to go play. I mean, it comes down to the camaraderie. It comes down to chemistry. It comes down to the culture of this team, and Nick has started that, and I think Jalen Hurts has even made it stronger. These players are accountable, and they will hold everyone else accountable as well. There's no selfish players here, guys. You look down the line, offense and defense, no selfishness with any of these players saying, I need more snaps. There's none of that going on, which is a great thing. But to be 4-0 is... It comes with a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? Do I think the Eagles are going undefeated? Probably not. I mean, let's be realistic, guys. I mean, there's going to be a stupid thing that happens during a game, whether it's a muff punt, whether it's something stupid that's going to lose us a game, or it's going to be a team that we're not ready for, or it's going to be just bad. It's going to be bad play calling. It's going to be on the coaches. I don't think it's going to be on Jalen Hurts too much. I think it's going to be on coaching, and I think it's going to be on just stupid things that happen during a game, big mistakes. And obviously this Jaguars game that just passed by, a lot of mistakes could have been made. In a bad weather environment type game where any mistake could happen, any turnover could happen at any minute, any second. which team can make the less of the mistakes, and the Eagles made the less of the mistakes, and the Eagles got the win because of that, which is a good thing. So I've been very happy with the way that defensive line has been playing, and I think they're just getting better every single week. The pressure is getting better, guys, and when there's no pressure, this coverage is perfect, with Big Play Slay having probably his best year as a Philadelphia Eagle and probably most of his whole career. James Bradbury as your number 2 doing so well, and not even giving up. He's only given up, 40 yards in 4 games? I mean, I don't even know what the number is. I read it the other day, but I was like, wow. I was like, this guy has got to stay in the building after this year. It's kind of crazy. Taking Bradbury that gave over 800 yards with the Giants last year, hasn't been a Pro Bowler since 2020, and really has lifted himself up as the number 2, and not too much on his plate, but not the hoorah type guy, not the loudmouth, but the guy that leads by example, which is showing, which is good. So, but you have to remember, guys, because we're 4-0 and we're undefeated, it feels so damn good that we're undefeated. Teams are going to be prepared for us, because the teams, every team we face every week, if we become undefeated, and we're still undefeated every single week, those teams are going to be more excited, are going to have a little bit of an extra step towards us. They're going to be prepared for us. And at the other end of the stick, I got to say to myself, I think we all need to start thinking, like, these teams need to watch out for us. This team is unbreakable through the mind and through anything. They don't listen to the outside noise. They're within themselves. They hear noise. Like, it's impossible not to hear it, but they'll hear things. Jalen Hurts will hear things. And this is what this team is all about, man. Like, this team is so... It's intoxicating to the fact where I don't think this team can be affected by anything. You have every great player in this locker room. There's nothing affected. There's no cancer in the locker room. There's no dysfunction. There's no nothing. And I think ever since Jeffrey Lurie stepped back when Nick Sirianni was hired, I think a lot of things started to change. These past 2 drafts, these past 2 off seasons have changed a lot with the Philadelphia Eagles. And the room, the vibe, it's just different. Even when I went to the Monday Night Football game against the Vikings, it was a different vibe with this team. And fans were very sure. Like, we're always hyping this team up every year. We're always realistic with this team every year. But there was just a different vibe in the air with the fan base and the way, just how this team is going to be this year. I mean, it is just fantastic. It is a great thing to witness as a Philadelphia Eagles fan. 4-0, haven't been 4-0 since 2004. And it's been a long time coming that this team is apparently in a rebuild, but Jesus. I mean, you call this a rebuild, a 2-year rebuild has turned into a team that could go a lot farther than expected, guys. I'm not going to say the magic word or anything like that, and I don't think that right now, because I'm the type of guy that likes to go through every single game, and I take one game at a time. I don't think ahead. I don't think of the play. I have to worry about too much other things before even getting to the playoffs. I'm not saying, like, I need to find out if this team is good. I think this team is spectacular. I think this team is dangerous. And Jalen Hurts definitely proves that on offense, because how does the run game work? Through Jalen Hurts. Why does it work? It's because of Jalen Hurts. Okay, you can't double team any of these receivers. You could try, but you have that one-on-one matchup. Jalen Hurts is going to take advantage of it, whether it's A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, even Quez Watkins that was quiet in that Jaguars game, but still is going to get attention regardless. The tight end position with Dallas Goedert not knowing when, Jack Stahl being a good blocker, and Calcaterra getting those reps in that Washington game, kind of opened my eyes that maybe we're going to have some good competition for that tight end 2 position in the future. There's a lot of great things. Miles Sanders having a strong year after getting hurt like 2-3 times last year, and starting in that wild card game against Tampa last year and didn't really play well. The whole team didn't play well. The coaching staff just didn't prepare well. The whole thing was just bad. But glad that relatively this team is healthy. Health is going to be one of the most important things this year to see how far they go. The Eagles cannot lose too many players, and I thought the Eagles were starting to get hit a lot from these injuries against the Jags. With Mulata and obviously, Samal, two starting offensive linemen, Slay ended up getting hurt, and he's going to be fine, but Maddox was already out, so they got to throw in more players that are going to step up to the plate. Next man up with Josiah Scott and Zach McPherson to be talked about. Slay has talked about McPherson as, he's close to being really a number 1 corner or whatever he said during training camp. I'm like, I don't think so. He was a 4th-round pick last year. This is his 2nd year, and there's not much on his plate. He doesn't have pressure on him. So I think, cornerback wise, the Eagles are going to step in. And obviously, if you have the cornerbacks, you have some backup cornerbacks that can't cover that well, you're going to have to give more pressure. And I think that's what I'm kind of waiting for with Gann just a little bit. Because really, I think it was 72% of the time with Jim Johnson that he did blitz when he was the defensive coordinator here. I mean, I don't think we'll ever get to that ever. I think a lot of teams don't really do that, to be honest, which teams should, and I think we just need to upscale it just a little. I'm not even saying that much. I'm saying just a little tiny bit. You add a few more blitzes, you add just a little bit more. Because I think it's benefiting your defense. And obviously the pressure is just insane. That defensive line, that 4-man front you have, should get pressure on its own. And if you need help, you have these linebackers to fill in the gaps. And I think you have the right ones. T.J. Edwards having a fantastic year. So like I said, guys, teams are going to be prepared for us. The more this team is undefeated every single week, this team gets, beats their next opponent every single week, you're going to get the best out of the next team. There might be a team coming off a loss. There's a team coming off a loss, and we're playing them, and they're going to show us what they got, and they're going to be scrappy, and they're not going to bow down to an undefeated team. But this team it's been domination. It really has. And just because, like, if the Eagles are down two touchdowns in that Jaguars game, everybody was kind of flipping out. A lot of Eagles fans were giving up on that game. I don't get it. And look, I totally get it. If Trevor Lawrence didn't fumble that ball on his own, if he threw that ball that was wide open to that, to that receiver that was wide open, for the receiver that took over for Zay Jones in that game, I thought that this team, it would have been 21-0, and it would have been hard to get back. 2 touchdowns, you can get back into a game. 3 is tough, but you got to be very resilient. And I think this team has shown resiliency since really, I thought we showed some last year, but really before that, guys, we didn't have resiliency for a while. I mean, the end of the seasons when the Eagles are, kind of backed up into a corner and like we need to, play well, and this team always did that. Really, I think after 2019, we kind of lost it a little bit. And then once Jalen Hurts was drafted and whatever happened when Carson Wentz happened and Hurts became the starting quarterback, things just started to change, especially with Nick Sirianni being the head coach, which I love Nick every single week. Every single week, I love Nick during these games. He's just got no filter. He doesn't give a crap, and he's the perfect embodiment coach of the city of Philadelphia, which is fantastic. Howie Roseman's been fantastic with the trades, the cap, everything like that. And I think next year is going to be even better, more exciting. But where am I seeing this team at the end of this year? I don't know. So if you want to call this a review of the 4 games I've watched so far and what to improve on, that's pretty much it. It's been a fun ride, and we're still going. We're still going. And, kind of want to see where, how far this team is going to go. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they can go a lot further than we expect because I think the NFC is very bad. I look at our schedule right now, and every team is beatable. Every team. Before the season started, I was like, maybe a few losses here and there. I said 13 wins for the season, and I think it could be more than that. I honestly think you could add a couple more wins on that category, maybe even more than that. If they really do surprise me, they get their stuff together. When the team is this hot this early, how long can they stay like this with this energy? How long can a team? Because sometimes when teams get too hot way too early in the season, especially right in the beginning of the season, now being 4-0, doesn't mean anything, guys. At the end of the day, like we faced the Panthers last year that were 3-0, and they fell apart after we beat them. Like they fell apart the rest of the season. You know what I mean? Once we get to 9-0, 10, depending on what the record is, doesn't matter what it is, but you're going to be able to tell that this team is legit, and this team, and just don't listen to anybody that tells you that we haven't beat anybody. It is what it is. The schedule gives us what they give us. I mean, that's it. The NFC is wide open this year because I think Green Bay is horrible. Tampa looks like crap. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. I thought Tennessee Titans might be a game. That might not even be a crazy game because teams look different later in the year. Depending when we get to those games later on, teams look very different. And the Eagles, I think, are just staying on a steady pace right now. They're not feeling too high. They're not feeling low. They're not feeling themselves up. They're not feeling cocky. They're not saying, we're the best. And I mean, they could say we're the best, but they're very confident in what they could do. They're not. And look, if I see a vibe from a team that they're going to take games lightly, I will say it because I don't think this team takes any game lightly. No matter the record, no matter the team, I think they take it as we need to become 1-0 every single week. And so far, 1-0 in the division right now. Still got a lot more division games. Still got so much more football left. I'm proud of this team. After watching what Jalen Hurts did, really after what Jalen Hurts did against the Vikings when I was at that game Monday night, man, I was overwhelmed. I was very emotional because, man, it makes me happy to see that not only is he playing so well, that Hurts is playing so well right now. It's not just the throwing motion and how he runs with the football in his hands. It's not even that. It's just the attitude. And we don't have a guy that's going to quit on us. We have a guy that's going to work 24/7 in the offseason. That's going to get the guys together. That is going to bring swag. It's going to bring a lot of camaraderie. That's going to bring the team together. And that's what I love about Jalen Hurts so much. All I wanted at the beginning of the season was this mentality that Jalen Hurts has, okay, needs to kind of, I don't know, match with his play. What we see on these videos in the offseason, what he did, and working with Quincy Avery and Tom House, the rumors with Tom Brady, all that stuff. Guy doesn't take a day off of football. We're seeing videos after video after video, and I was saying, got to see what he could do. And then the preseason comes up. They play for a couple snaps. They play a couple series, not much. You know what I mean? So that's what we got in preseason, and that's what the preseason is going to be. The Eagles are trying to keep themselves healthy. They're not trying to go crazy during preseason, but we were afraid that there was going to be some rust that they had to knock off, and they did. I think partially it's all knocked off now. After 4 games, I think we're good. That was the hard part of seeing A.J. Brown get 155 yards receiving the first game, and no one else got the ball, but I complained about it, but at the same time, I'm like, well, we won, number one. Number two, it's the first game of the season, so I couldn't really complain about it too much. But what we're seeing from some of these players, as progressively we're seeing just players get better. Hassan Reddick is definitely the first signing we had in free agency, and man, Reddick is just getting better every single week. It's not because he's not a good player; it's because the usage of him where we need him is becoming, that Gannon is starting to recognize that, and he had his breakout game against the Jags. I mean, this pass rush. We have a strip sack artist right now in Hassan Reddick. We haven't had that in Philadelphia on the edge in years. Okay, Graham is still playing at a high level coming off of an Achilles injury. I mean, you're over 30 years old at an old age coming off an Achilles. Sometimes, players just can't come back from that on an old age. And he's playing very, very good this year. Last year of his contract, see what happens next year. Fletcher Cox, 2 down years, a few years dealing with some injuries, plus 2 down years the past couple seasons, and the redid his deal. So he will be a free agent after this year, and Fletcher Cox was definitely had my eyes on him, the first 4 games. And not saying at the first game, I don't think anybody really played good defensively. The line really didn't too much. But he has gotten a lot better as well. I think just everybody's getting better. Jordan Davis has been better every week. There's been questions about his cardio. There's been questions about stamina and all that stuff, but I think that's out the door now. I think Jordan Davis is learning, and he's getting the mentorship, and he is getting better, and I am seeing it every single week. So this team is almost perfect for me. And, yet to see what they're going to do later on. But after all said and done, we'll see how this goes. The more we win, the more pressure on us. And I don't think the Eagles face pressure, really. I don't think they even phase it. They don't even think about it. They just play football, and that's it. The media and the reporters, they put all of the drama around a game. If we're facing Carson Wentz, if we're going to face Doug Pearson against the Jags, we're going to face Zach Ertz. They put all the drama around it, and the Eagles just are not fazed by it. Jalen Hurts, the offense, this defense, not fazed by anything. So if you want to call this a review, or I don't know, just how I feel so far in the first 4 games, and what it feels to be, how it feels to be undefeated as of right now. And like I said, I don't think they're going to be undefeated the whole season, because likely special team sucks. Okay, I'll say that right now. Britton Covey's, I think he's better on kick return so far than he is punt return. But there's going to be a game where some stupid crap's going to happen. We're going to get screwed in a game. It's bound to happen. Look, they have an undefeated season. That's crazy. Put that in the record books, okay? But as of right now, I think, we'll be more realistic and say that something's going to happen that's going to screw us over, or maybe we just play bad one game. But I just don't see this team playing bad, like below average. I really don't. I don't see them just dropping a game and saying, "Oh, we could have played better." Like I just don't see the give up in them. Like it's just it's crazy. It's nuts. But other than that, guys, I don't want to make this video any longer. It's almost been 20 minutes, but let me know what you guys think about just the first 4 games in general. How do you feel about this team so far? Are you on the train? Are you not on the train? Are you taking it week by week? Like me, I'm taking it week by week, but I'm enjoying every second of it to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan. And the way this team is talked about, the last thing I'll say is this team is talked about every week. The media is praising us, barely talking about the Cowboys. You know, the Eagles have been pretty much the news of the offseason to now the season. Not used to it. Times are changing within the NFC East. Times are changing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, this team is going to be noticed as a very dangerous team for years to come, and that's what's going to happen to you. That's what's going to happen. So get used to it, guys, because we keep playing like this. It's all going to be great things. As long as it doesn't get to the players' heads and they feel themselves up and they take games lightly, we're perfectly fine. But I don't even think that's going to happen. I think we're going to play the same way. We're going to play tough, resilient football, domination. That's what we're going to do. You guys let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. And I'll see you guys on the next one. And sorry if it was a stupid video. I do apologize. But I just felt like I kind of want to let it rip on just the first 4 games. And just to kind of review on what we've been doing so far since the start till now. And what I expected, what I didn't expect. And holy crap, this team is really, really good. So, all right, guys. You guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you in the next one. Shakes, what up? Follow, slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.